Welcome once again to Breakfast Central. Today, of course, in South Africa, Nelson Mandela Day has been celebrated. The former South African president and world leader Nelson Mandela was born on the 18th of July, and in 2009, the United Nations declared the day Mandela Day. According to the Mandela Foundation, in 2009, when the United Nations General Assembly declared Nelson Mandela's 18th July birthday Nelson Mandela International Day, Madiba called on the people of the world to honor him by helping their communities.
For the Nelson Mandela Foundation, the focus and messaging will be based on promoting community and home-based gardens, supporting fruit and indigenous tree planting, and creating awareness of the intersections between food security and climate change. This year, the foundation will be highlighting the plight of food security and climate change with the tagline, "Do what you can with what you have, where you are." Now, a very interesting conversation. This year, Prince Harry will be giving the UN keynote speech on the Nelson Mandela International Day. And it's important to talk about the fact that he's made huge impact in the lives of the people of South Africa. The story of South Africa's journey to anti-apartheid can never be told without mentioning the role that Nelson Mandela had to play. Sometimes when we see a lot of the stories still happening, I wonder what would happen if he were still here to witness all of this happening. Is a man who has impacted the world, not just South Africa, in life and in death.
And also, what would happen if he never showed up? Where would South Africa be today as a nation? A lot of countries also, across Africa, that still had to deal with some level of segregation or the other. Nelson Mandela did play a huge part, in ending, to some extent. And so, where would, South Africa be if he didn't show up? If he gave up, after being in jail for almost more than 2 decades,
spending the most
years.
part of, a long part of his life in jail.
So if he never showed up, where would they be? And, at some point, if he gave up. And it's a good day to basically, remember the life that he lived and the things that he stood for, and see how many more African leaders can continue to show empathy and justice and equality and forgiveness and some of the core values that Nelson Mandela was known for. And also, a leader who did one tenure and left office. A lot of African leaders wouldn't even consider that an option. They will want to stay for an extra even a third term if possible. So there's so much that Nelson Mandela should be remembered for. The last time that everyone saw him being completely one of the moments a lot of people remember is when, of course, South Africa got the World Cup, in 2010, and he was a key figure in getting that to South Africa. So there's so much, and the country will celebrate, the continent, in general will celebrate, and the world will celebrate, today as Nelson Mandela Day.
I looked up some of my favorite Nelson Mandela quotes, and one of them is, "It's always impossible until it's done." I mean, with him, that's really an exemplary lifestyle. It was almost impossible to imagine South Africa getting to the place where he became the first black president until he actually did it.
Yeah.
And he also went further to say education is the most powerful weapon with which you can use to change the world. And I wish that a lot of our leaders on the continent will remember this and prioritize education, because in 2022, we're having conversations about education that is very expensive. In many schools, we've seen parents that are not able to cope with the fees. We did talk about that in one of our neighboring countries, about the fact that the fees had gotten very exorbitant and parents had to complain. And the highest number of out-of-school children in the world are based on this continent. So we do hope that his legacy, it's not just about celebrating the day, that we embody the message that his life tried to preach.
Yeah.
Join South Africa and the rest of the world in celebrating Nelson Mandela Day.
I just want to quickly share a couple of his quotes also, like you did. It says here, "Peace is not just the absence of conflict. Peace is the creation of an environment where all can flourish." And that's extremely relevant today, because sometime on the program, we're going to be talking about issues in Sudan and Ethiopia, where I think dozens of people were also killed over the weekend, in community clashes over some really, really, in my opinion, really minor issues. Mandela is also quoted to have said that no one is born hating another person because of the color of his skin or his background or his religion. People must learn to hate. And if they can learn to hate, they can also be taught to love, which is very important also in today's world. And also he says, as long as poverty, injustice, and gross inequality persist in our world, none of us can truly rest. That's also from Nelson Mandela. So if you can, look out for some of the activities that will be carried out today in honor of Nelson Mandela, and see if you can take part of it. Some of them, I guess, will be going on online. Check out the UN page and see what you can find and ways that you can be a part of it. But mostly imbibe some of the core values of the great Nelson Mandela.
Some of his core values were empathy. He was honest. He was someone whose life was basically one to emulate. He was one of the first people in his family to get an education, and then went ahead to push for education and equality for others. And we must always remember him. If he were alive, he would have been 102. This would have been his 102nd birth anniversary. So yes, we absolutely join the rest of the world. Great people are born in the month of July. We join the rest of the world to celebrate Mandela.